Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into something really fascinating from the ancient text, the Paṭisambhidāmagga. It's called the Dhammacakka, or the Wheel of Dhamma. Now, this isn't just some dusty old symbol. Think of it more like a dynamic blueprint, a guide for how one single spark of insight can build into something with truly unstoppable momentum. Pretty powerful, right? Let's get into it.
All right, here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with that very first spark of insight. Then we'll ask, what is this wheel really? After that, we'll see how it gets turning, first with truth and then with mindfulness. And to wrap it all up, we'll pop the hood and take a look at the amazing engine that drives the whole thing.
First up, the spark of insight. Every big change, every major movement starts with just a single push. And in this case, that push is a profound moment of seeing something clearly for the very first time. But what's so cool is that the text doesn't just stop there. It breaks that one moment down into this incredible, super fast cascade of 5 distinct events happening in the mind, one flowing right into the next. And this line from the text really sets the stage. We're talking about a mind that has never encountered these truths before. This isn't about remembering something you read in a book. We're talking about a completely fresh, genuine aha moment that appears out of nowhere. And that single moment, well, it's the starting pistol for everything that follows. Okay, check this out, because this is where it gets really interesting. That aha moment isn't just one thing. It's a process, like dominoes falling in rapid succession. It all starts with kakku, the eye of insight, simply the capacity to see. That seeing immediately gives rise to jnana. Now you know what it is you've just seen. This deepens into pañña, which is a real understanding of its nature. That leads to vidya, where you completely penetrate the truth of it. And the final result of all that? Aloko, a brilliant, radiant illumination that just floods the mind. It's this beautiful, lightning-fast sequence from a simple glimpse all the way to radiance. All right, so we've seen the spark that gets it all started. Now let's move to the main event, the wheel itself. What exactly is this Wheel of Dhamma? What's great is that the text asks this very same question. It's basically inviting us to look deeper, to not just settle for a simple image. And the answer isn't just one single definition. It's more like these different layers of meaning that all build on top of each other.
So the first layer is the most direct one. The wheel is set in motion by the Dharma, the teachings, the truth of how things really are. That is the force that gives the wheel its very first push.
And then comes the next layer. The wheel is also set in motion while you're standing in the Dhamma. See that subtle shift? It's not just about the teachings as an external force, it's about you embodying them, living within that truth you've come to understand. That's when it really picks up speed. And here's the kicker. Once this wheel really gets going, the text is crystal clear. It's unstoppable. I mean, look at that quote. It says nothing and no one, not in this world or any other, can reverse its course. It represents a fundamental shift that simply cannot be undone. And that really matters, because it points to a kind of change that builds on itself and lasts forever. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work in practice? Well, the text gives us a perfect example by showing what happens when you apply that spark of insight to one of the most foundational teachings there is, the Four Noble Truths. So here we have the original Pali for the first noble truth. Let it just sit there for a second. Idam dukkham arya sachanti. And that translates directly to, this is the noble truth of suffering. Here's the key. When that whole 5-part cascade of insight, from seeing all the way to illumination, is applied directly to this fundamental reality, the wheel of Dhamma begins to turn, and turn powerfully. It's that kind of deep, gut-level recognition that really gets everything moving. But it's not just about these huge philosophical breakthroughs. The text shows that our direct, moment-to-moment practice is just as powerful when it comes to turning the wheel. So let's take a look at the role of mindfulness, or satipatthana. And here we have the Pali again, this time pointing to a very direct and intimate practice. Ayam kaye kayanupasanati. This means this is the contemplation of the body in the body. It's about observing the body just as it is, without adding any stories or judgments. When that very same spark of insight happens right there, in that direct, embodied experience, bam! The wheel gets another powerful push. It just goes to show you that grounded awareness is a key source of fuel for this entire process.
So if recognizing truth and practicing mindfulness are like the hands that push the wheel, what's the actual engine made of? What are the gears and pistons that give it all that power? Well, the text gives us this incredible, detailed breakdown of the mental qualities that drive this whole process forward.
And wow, just look at this list. It's a whole system, isn't it? The wheel isn't turned by just one single thing, but by cultivating this whole range of qualities. We've got faculties, powers, awakening factors, and so much more. Now, don't worry about memorizing all of them right now. The key takeaway is just seeing how beautifully interconnected everything is. Let's just pull out a few of these to make it more concrete, because this is really the heart of it. Think of samadhi or right view as having a really clear map for your journey. But, a map's no good if you just stay on the couch. That's where vidyabalam, the power of energy, comes in. You also need sadhindriyam, the faculty of conviction. That's the trust that the map is actually leading you somewhere worthwhile. And all along the way, Paṭisambhidāmagga, mindfulness as an awakening factor, keeps you aware of exactly where you are on that path. See how they all work together? Each one is a vital part of the engine. So, what's the whole point? Where is this unstoppable wheel actually headed? The text brings it all home with this beautiful ultimate statement. The entire system, this powerful wheel, has one final destination: nibbana. It's about plunging into the deathless. That is the point of all this momentum. And that brings it right back to us, right here and now. This Wheel of Dhamma, it isn't just some ancient metaphor, it's a living process. So looking at those components of the engine, conviction, energy, mindfulness, understanding, the question the text leaves us with is a personal one. Which of these will you focus on cultivating today to give your own wheel a push and start building your own unstoppable momentum?